Let's set up your business in 4 easy steps. What we're gonna try to do here is make sure we keep this simple while also making sure that you are secure in your business. You got peace of mind and you're protected and you're professional. Let's get right to it. Step number 1 is filing an LLC. The other option would be just opening a business. It's called a sole proprietorship or a partnership if there's 2 people. There's no difference between you and the business. So if anything goes wrong, debt, lawsuits, anything, someone's blaming you for something you didn't do, you know who gets sued? You personally. Now, to prevent that, all you have to do is file an LLC. Link below for Drafted Legal. We'll have it filed for you within 7 days. This is probably as good a bang for your buck as you may ever get in terms of protecting yourself for your business. It's unbelievable. It protects all the bad things if you do it correctly. So that is what an LLC does. There's also other benefits, tax benefits, but we'll leave that for another day because we're just trying to set your business up right now the right way. Just know that you both get liability protection and tax options you can talk to your CPA about. A bonus is you kind of hear about this LLC versus S Corp. When people say that, they don't know what they're talking about. You can be an LLC and be an S. So just know that when you file an LLC, you can still file. That's actually just a tax election. It's not a legal entity. So an LLC can be an S. So you hear these conversations online or maybe from professionals, but just know that filing the LLC opens you up. You can still do that sooner at a later point. Next step is we're gonna get you a bank account. If it's done right, it's really part of step 1, but I wanna separate it out just because it's very important. To make sure you get that liability protection, I need you to have a separate bank account. This is not only good legally, financially it's good. You can see your numbers nice and clear. So once you get everything, let's say you filed with Drafted Legal's filing online service. Everything you get back from that filing, you just take to a banker and say, hey, I wanna set up a business bank account. Boom. You're done. That step is really simple, but it's important to make sure you're separating the LLC from your personal assets. Because just saying, oh, I got an LLC, there are some things you gotta do to make sure you earn that status of getting liability protection. So make sure you get that bank account. Our third step, this is not a legal requirement. The LLC is technically not a legal requirement either. These are just best practices. And this is a very important one as well. Getting contracts in place. And here's who I want you to have contracts with day 1. I want you to have a contract with your client or your customers. So if you're a service business, you need to have a very clear client agreement as to what you are providing in return for what they are giving you, which is usually money. So things like, what is your hourly rate, or what are the terms of use? Who owns the intellectual property? What happens if someone cancels the agreement? What are the termination penalties? What are other things to protect you? Like, how do you collect money? What if someone's not paying you money? So all of these things really need to be addressed, and they need to follow your policies, or at least your type of business. Again, Drafted has service agreements in our legal bundle you can find down below, and it tries to see a lot of these pitfalls. Now you got a couple options in terms of getting contracts in place. You can hire a lawyer to do it, which is the most expensive option. You can write it yourself, which is the least expensive option. You don't have to be a lawyer to write it. You just need to understand the industry, and you need to be able to see the right pitfalls. Or you can use a service like Drafted Legal or one of the other online services. For that, I just want to make sure you got an attorney drafting it. Be very cautious of downloading things off the internet. I'd almost rather you do it yourself with an email that says these are our terms. The reason is a lot of times when you grab stuff off the internet, it does more harm than good, because there'll just be all this random stuff that can obligate you to more stuff than you really meant to. I would do a less is more route to begin with until you get an attorney involved drafting it. These agreements are really written for that 1 or 2% of people that you just can't make happy. They're just gonna be upset, and you need to have the agreement to point to something and say, look, this was our deal. Very sorry you're frustrated, but it helps give you a lot of leverage, and you can point to, look, you signed this agreement, it's here. So make sure it gets signed, make sure it sees the pitfalls, make sure it has an attorney's fees clause in it. It's really important. So if someone's not paying you, you can go pay an attorney and get part of the damages, the fees you paid out to go collect it. And the last step is number 4. I wanna make sure you're compliant with any licenses you might need. So this one will just vary depending on what kind of business you're in. like some states require personal trainers to have some sort of a license, or obviously a lawyer or CPA or someone has to, pass some sort of an exam. So if you're in one of those industries, make sure you've got that. If not, you still usually need a business license. So here's how you figure that out. You type in your city. So I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, type in City of Charleston business license, and there will be a web page telling me what to do, and you'll pay them a little bit of money. Usually it's not terrible, but you want to make sure you do that, even if you have an at-home business. So sometimes they'll be called home occupation business license, something like that. These are usually pretty user-friendly because the government's trying to get more of your money, so they make it pretty easy to do that. That's our 4 steps. So just to recap, you need to get an LLC. You got 3 options to do that. You can hire a lawyer, you can do it yourself, or you can use someone like Drafted Legal that'll file it for you. There's other services out there that do it as well, obviously. 2, you need that bank account to make sure that you're getting that LLC protection. 3, you need contracts. You need these contracts with your clients, with anyone that's doing work for you. So anyone you have a deal with, make sure you got an agreement protecting you there. And then 4th, I want to make sure you're legally compliant. This is just pure compliance issue. So it's a business license or professional licensing if that's required. So I hope that helps. We do have a guide below that goes through the 2 phases that we recommend on legal protection, starts talking about trademarks and things like that. So download that, use any of our resources, and reach out to me if you got any questions, or if you purchase anything from Drafted and have any questions about what a clause means, or how to implement it, or whether you can change it, shoot me an email and we'll do the best to get a response to you. All right, thanks. Go get them.